Hello, Ron. Hey, Pam. How are you guys?
Hey, we're alive and kicking. How about you? Where are you?
Yeah, Colorado Springs, finally.
Yeah, so did we go to Sudan?
Oh, yeah.
How
Yeah,
was it?
we went there and then we went to Uganda to check on the construction of the borehole.
Yeah.
For what was going to be that global grant. Remember that one, which is now a Global Water First project.
Yeah. So you survived. It went okay?
It went really good. Yeah, if you got a little time, I can show a couple pictures for folks.
Yeah, well, you can show you want to do it during the meeting or you just talking about now, it's fine. Either way.
During the meeting, because I think
Yeah.
there's a lot of clubs that were involved in the global grant that should see
Good.
that it's still going on, that
Yeah,
the mission still goes on.
sure. Cool.
Yeah. So you guys good? You look good.
Hey, John,
Hello, Steve Wright.
how are you?
We have to stop having fun now that Steve showed up.
Oh yeah, all business now.
He's always serious.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, I'm on the downward slope. This is my fourth Zoom today, and it's the last one.
Good for
Dude, you
you.
better take a pee break, man.
I just did. Yeah.
Get the
Sound like
scotch
a lawyer.
ready.
Dayon, how do you put up with him?
I don't. So that's why we Zoom from different places.
Ah,
She's
Word.
actually in Uganda right now.
are you really? Oh.
In spirit, though. I follow you on Facebook. That was pretty amazing. The photo you post there.
Oh man, I can't wait till we go. I mean, we did have a couple people drop out. One person, Mary Jo, her brother and mother came down with they have to go into chemo, so she's not going. This would have been her fifth expedition,
Wow.
and then why am I blocking out the couple that dropped out? Oh, Michelle Tsui and David Sang dropped out. They just don't have enough faith quite yet on the vaccine for the variant.
Yeah.
So they didn't want to go. But I felt, being vaccinated, I felt completely confident when I went there last week. And they're very serious in Uganda about masks and social distancing, and they're doing a good job with it.
Excellent.
Yeah,
Still enjoying Colorado?
I am. The cases are it's so relative everywhere you go in the world, especially equatorial Africa. They freak out because their cases have hit 100 a day in a country. I mean, we're 10,000 a day, so I'd rather be there than here, frankly. Hi, Holly.
Based on
Hi,
that.
everybody.
Hi, Rosemary.
Hi.
Rosemary, Chris, Keith. Party started.
Hi, Keith.
Hi there,
Chris.
John.
Where's Keith?
How we doing?
Doing good, sir.
Super, same here. And Steve Wright just had a little runaway.
What?
Just had what?
Runaway? Did you spend a few days away with your special one? So quickly it passes with the ride.
Well, it was kind of nice. So Keith, we went to Occidental for the weekend for our anniversary, and PG&E, they didn't want us to feel lonely, so they turned the power off for a few hours that night, just to
Oh, that's so nice.
Oh, that's so romantic.
yeah, about 6 till about midnight and 5 to midnight or whatever. And so the question was, do the restaurants have the ability to cook? And I'm happy to say, yeah. But it was just PG&E just wanted us to keep them in our thoughts, I guess.
I hope
Yay.
you prepare a candlelight or something, right?
Oh, Lord.
It's not.
Well, nice you got away.
Yeah, and you're right. That we've been back since yesterday, and that seems like so long ago already.
Obviously, you've forgotten about it already.
Well, this is my fourth Zoom today, and there's a business issue I'm having to handle with my former business this weekend. So it's joy abounds.
We had a big getaway. We went to Point Reyes Station.
Ooh.
How about that, huh? The lights
Ooh,
work.
yeah.
Hey,
World travelers there.
Yeah, I know. You really feel like we're back in the groove now.
Yeah, I'm
that
I'm
counts
totally, totally
counts as-
impressed.
Well, it's 5:32 and this might be all we get. So why don't we just go ahead and get going?
Good
I
idea.
bet everyone has something else they would rather be doing.
Oh, Ron.
As much as we enjoy each other, I know, but let's go ahead and get on with it. And this is a work session anyway. This isn't for fun. So, I sent around a sort of what agenda I had put together at that stage yesterday. And what I'm hoping to get done today here is to, agree on what we want to do on Saturday. I can go back through the list as I have accumulated it up till now. There's a couple of things I added since the one I sent you yesterday. So I'll just speak through those few points. And then I'd like to hear input from many of you who either have other things you'd like to do or changes to this, okay? So I'll make an introduction. Dave Hellman's going to be our first presenter. He's going to talk about DDF in whatever terms he wants to do that. He said 15 minutes would be good for him. Keith Axtell is going to give 15 minutes on Rotary Global Grants Program. Just an overview. Keith, you want to tell us what you're going to do?
Yeah, I'm just going to describe the program, the various ways it can be used for humanitarian and global scholars and VTT, kind of explain those, the 6 areas of focus. And then talk about resources available to clubs if they want to sponsor a global grant project.
7 areas of focus. Do you have to update your stuff?
7 areas of focus.
Did he say 6? Oh, I'm sorry, Keith. You're out of the group.
All righty, replace me. Someone else can do it.
Yeah. Good luck, right?
That's blackmail.
Okay, that's cool. That's good. And then Tony is going to take a few minutes. She said probably 5 maximum to just announce the meeting they're going to have on September 2nd, which is a potential collaboration between the Rotary Club, between our district and Return Peace Corps volunteers. I know Keith and some others might be involved in that, so some of you know, but they're putting together. Keith, is that going to be an hour program, I guess, on the 2nd?
Just a little over an hour. Yeah, and Steve Carlson is presenting his Morocco project.
Yeah.
It's really trying to build partnerships, but also it's a membership outreach for Rotary toward Return Peace Corps volunteers, see if we can't interest them in Rotary. So we're blanketing it, trying to get Rotarians, particularly in international service and membership, onto the call, as well as many return volunteers as we can. We have, Steve, you were counting, I think we probably have about 12 Return Peace Corps volunteers in our district at least, and 5 of them we know of have done global grant projects. So it's a great resource for people who really have made a commitment to international service.
So
that's the goal.
I'm sorry, go ahead, Keith.
As you said, that's the goal, is to try to attract more of those folks into Rotary.
Right. So during our meeting on Saturday, Matoni is just going to present that opportunity. She's already sent out potential invitations, I think, but if not, she'll send them again before their meeting on the 2nd. So on Saturday, she just wants to mention that opportunity for people to think about. Oh, Chris Gallagher. Chris Gallagher, you're here, right? Hi, Janine. Chris Gallagher is going to talk about a program that she introduced to John Kaufman and I. Go ahead, Chris, tell them what you're going to tell us.
So the Aquarium of the Bay that's on Pier 39. Oh, wow.
Payan, could you kill your dog, please, Payan?
I think it was a sea
Put a mute
otter.
on.
Like, whoa, okay. So the Aquarium of the Bay that's on Pier 39 is the nonprofit partner for the Bay Model Visitor Center. So they have just started a program called Eco Expeditions, where they take a very like a group of people, like around 12 or so, to a part of the world, and they study the ecological aspect of it and go diving, snorkeling, things like that. They really get into the science of it. And so they approached me thinking, since Rotarians are international and they like to do things like that, would we be interested? And given that we now have an area of focus on the environment, I did tell them that, Rotarians like to do fun things, but they also like to do service. And so they made a presentation to John and Ron last week, and just kind of proposing like what they've been doing, but they're also willing to tailor a program for us, either locally, as John suggested. Maybe there's something in the Monterey Bay area or something that we could do, or we go somewhere internationally. So it's just an idea. We're just floating it out there to see who might be interested. And since we do have the environmental focus now, I just thought that might be a good opportunity if folks wanted to do it. So it's very much in its infancy stage at this point.
Okay. And how many minutes do you want, Chris?
I think 5 will be okay.
Okay. All righty. It's somewhat flexible, but that's fine for working around.
I'll take more, just watch Holly squirm in her seat. So
Well,
but I'm not chair anymore. I'm going to talk and talk and talk and talk.
Oh, but we know you wouldn't do that, Chris.
Holly and I haven't talked about this yet, but I'm probably not necessarily going to end all these meetings on time. It just depends if people are doing something that's useful. We're going to keep going. Poor Holly.
No.
Poor Holly. She's going to have a coronary.
She's going to have a coronary.
Holly, you don't have a weak heart, do you?
I'm just going to keep talking and watch Holly go, Ron, shut her up.
So John, at the beginning of this, before everybody got here, mentioned he might like to give some time a presentation about their trip that he was just on. John, you want to explain what you want to do and how much time you'd like?
Yeah, I'll do a quick version with you guys right now, but if you find that it's of merit and interest, it might be something to explain to everybody. On Monday of last week, I returned from the South Sudan. We were there for two and a half weeks, and we were doing two things. One is we were installing a wall spring, which is like the sun spring, except on a wall in a building. And so Innovative Water Technologies here in Colorado is making what's called SIP buildings, structural insulated panel buildings. So prefab buildings that can be what we did is we put it in, it's all configured with a bottling operation and the purification equipment. And then that building slid into a 40-foot high cube container. And we shipped the entire container with about 520-liter bottles and everything needed to get started in enterprise. And so when it arrived in South Sudan, we pulled the building out, and then we had a crane, and it lifted the container and the building onto a pad in the back of the humanitarian ministry of South Sudan. And so now you have a 2-building water plant that we had up and running and purifying water at the end of that day. So this is a new kind of a product, right? It's taking a full water bottling enterprise, putting it in a container and sending it really anywhere. The next one we're going to do like that is going to be in Ethiopia in October, and that's being shipped now. But that particular one will be completely solarized. So while the wall spring requires electricity, the one that and we had that in South Sudan, the one that would be going into Ethiopia is solar, completely solar. And then in between that, we've got in September, I'm bringing 33 people to Uganda. This was originally a global grant, and the global grant fell apart, partly because the World Fund ran out of money, and partly because we had a despot in Uganda who is acting as the district chair of Rotary Club of the Rotary Foundation, who didn't get it. He didn't understand it, so he wouldn't sign it. And so, that was after it being in draft form for 2 years. Keith and I worked. I used more time of Keith than I would ever. I apologize, but that thing was crumbling. But at the same time, we had proposed to this village and promised to this village for over 2 years that we were going to do this. So all the projects that I'm doing now currently are Global Water First, which is a impact investment fund. So we're using investment dollars rather than philanthropy dollars. So we were able to step in. We had enough because of generous investors who happen to be Rotarians. We were able to step in, take over that global grant, and now that's in process. So last week we went to Uganda to the site, and we come to the site, and here's this stream, literally this stream of water, and I have pictures of it, but and this is where a steady stream, pardon the pun, of children walk there and back with jerry cans of water. And literally 20 feet away from that is our drilling rig. And it's drilling a 300-foot borehole, like right next to it. I couldn't get a picture that showed them both because of the angles, but it was like the most incredible experience. And this is the beginning of what is becoming the water plant that was a $126,000 global grant. Now it's an investment. But as we're starting to put these in, and the one we put in South Sudan in particular, we're getting everything, this is at the Humanitarian Center in South Sudan, the one that we put in that came from the container. All these NGOs are coming out of the woodwork because they all go to the humanitarian sector. They're seeing bottled water coming out of it. They all want to do these things. So there's opportunity for investment, but there's still opportunity for a lot of grants and a lot of global grants and working with Rotary. The UN Development Program, UNDP, is especially excited about that. They're the largest customer for these bottles now, and they're pulling together about gross $1,200 a day in bottle sales. So this is really, really high impact. And we're starting to develop also with IWT, the company that makes all this equipment, a system in which we can blend reverse osmosis with ultrafiltration and really take care of whatever's in the water, arsenic, salt, whatever. We can create a product for sale by these villages that can solve all these issues. And this is kind of late breaking news. So I'm really excited about the technology. It took me moving out here to really, kind of understand it and help them develop what would work in the developing world. So I think it's information that international chairs who are searching for projects of high impact, and specifically I'm interested in projects that lead towards self-reliant villages. I'm like Keith. I really like the enterprise models. Whenever we're doing, if we're going to do service, let's do something besides just, providing fish for free, right? Let's teach a man to fish. So I think it would be, I could explain it in roughly the same time that I just explained it to you with the, or less with the ability of some pictures. I'd be happy to do that.
Was that 2 minutes?
No.
I didn't have the stopwatch on you, John. I love your projects, of course, and I do think at some extreme there's a risk of overwhelming people with John Kaufman all the time. But your storytelling is great, your projects are great, and so I personally prefer you to have as much time as you think is appropriate. And I also don't think we have to. Go ahead.
5 minutes.
You talked more than 5 minutes, Sean.
10 minutes.
Well, I keep it to 5 minutes. I just think people need to get exposed to, they don't know what they don't know. And a lot of the grants that I was seeing that were getting funded were kind of lame. I gotta be honest, in my opinion.
So I have a question, and I think John's gonna, if there are more people like me, John's gonna have to explain this. So now you're talking, John, about investors.
Well, I wouldn't be at the international meeting.
Okay, so then what are you looking for? You're looking for
Well,
more district grants?
Yeah, I'm basically, because that's too cutting edge for people to grasp. But I do want to talk about these kinds of things that you can do with a global grant. Like you put a bottling building in a container and you put it in the middle of nowhere and you stand up an enterprise.
Okay,
Like you can do blended RO and UF technology to take everything out of the water. Like you can create enterprises with Rotary dollars, because I think a lot of Rotarians really like that idea,
right.
right? So no, I wouldn't be explaining the investor model to
Okay.
international directors, international chairman.
Okay, because I find it confusing. If I find it confusing, they're going to find it confusing
No, I
without
would
an
need, I would
explanation.
need more time on that. But there's many incredible Rotarians that personally have invested in it. I'm not going to be talking about that. I'm going to be talking about how it fits into the conventional model, which
Okay.
is philanthropy only.
Okay,
Okay. Everybody else good with that? John can have 5 or 10 minutes, whatever he thinks flies, right? You good? Okay.
So that's Saturday, right?
yeah,
It's Saturday at 9 a.m. You know, it was going to be a longer meeting in person, and then I just said, well, let's just make it an hour. I actually don't want to restrict it to an hour if we come up with enough content that's useful. So I don't want to kind of squeeze on that part of it just yet. Let's see what we have that people would like to talk about.
so Ron, are you going to send an agenda out to the international chairs and the presidents? Because that's
Yeah.
going to make a difference about people signing up if they know what's going to be presented.
I definitely will send an agenda out. I'll probably do it either tonight or tomorrow morning. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. Yeah. I was planning to do that. I just thought it was better if we had the agenda first.
Right.
So that's all the ones I had. Yeah, that's all the ones I had noted so far. The rest of you who are on, hi Cindy, the rest of you who are here, who I didn't mention yet, do any of you have a subject you'd like to talk about on Saturday? You don't have to do something at every meeting, but if you have something you would like to mention or something you think we should hit, now would be a good time to suggest it. Okay, you can think about it for a minute.
Is Danielle attending the meeting?
I always send her an invitation. I haven't talked with her. I don't know.
Okay,
John?
I'm just saying, I watched the foundation meeting on Saturday and, you know, Jane introduced her and Danielle gave some remarks. So just be prepared if she pops in.
Oh, maybe I should invite her, huh?
Yeah, since it's the first meeting of the year for international, I assume she'll probably be there. So just be prepared to introduce her and welcome her. And
Okay. Yeah, I'll contact her this week and ask her if she'd like to have an intro or say a few things. Cool. Dave Hellman, you showed up. Oh, so
My computer was not behaving.
was that your phone that we were seeing?
Yes, it was. Then
Oh, you didn't miss anything. Dave, we just mentioned that you're going to take 15 minutes to give an introduction to DDF. Is there anything you'd like to either clarify for us at this meeting or that it?
No, that's pretty much it. I mean, I was going to tend to use the same material that we used in our training for the president-elects and those that took that training back in the beginning of the year. But I have slides for that I think will work. And I'll go through how DDF's allocated and go from there.
So Dave, will you be sending the allocations out prior to the meeting?
Well, we've already sent out the allocation for the year. I've got to update it because of John's global grant not going through as a global grant. So that's going to change the DDF available for the clubs that donated to that, and the district also for a few $1,000s. So it'll increase those participants' DDF for the year. And I need to send out an updated sheet for that.
Okay, and it should go to the international chairs because I know I haven't received anything.
I haven't either, Dave. Who'd you send it to, man?
Well, I may have ended up sending it to the president-elects, but I'll see what I can do about I'll try and get something out this week if I can.
At least send me a copy. A bunch of people have asked me what they are, and I was
Yeah.
trying to take a look at, even if you're going to revise it, it's still good to give them what you have, I think.
Right.
Yeah, and we're ready to make allocations. We've been waiting for the
Well, you
approval.
should be at least the president, well, your current president should have it.
Yeah, but shouldn't we get it from
I
you?
also got the international chairs. I'll have to look at my mailing list.
Yeah,
We have an updated list of international chairs that we can send you.
Yeah, David, the last one I saw was in April, dated April.
All right, well, there's one that went out in early July.
Yeah, all the
We- we
presidents
did all-
got that one.
but the international chairs did not.
All right.
Okay, that's
I
good.
try to tell them to send them to the international chairs, but I guess that's the same as anything else they get. They don't necessarily read it.
Well, last year's
Yeah.
chairs may have, but now we have brand new chairs like me.
All right. Well, yeah, Keith, if you've got that list or somebody's got a list of the current international chairs, then I'll work with that.
Yeah,
And,
I'm
and the
just updating
committees.
it a little bit and I'll get it to you tomorrow.
Okay, thanks.
So Ron, I noticed on your agenda that you also had a spot to talk about some projects that have been funded by DDF.
Well,
And-
actually, my hope was to make the meeting be more leaned that way. But of course, there's a necessity to do these administrative things early in the year. That's actually my last request for today is, does somebody have a project that they think would be appropriate? Actually, John's project is appropriate, but I'd like to have somebody talk a few minutes about any of the projects that they know that are either ongoing or progressing or, have been particularly interesting that might catch people's, fascination. Do you know of any, Cindy, or?
Well, I think John would be a good one. And then there are some that are pending that have been funded by DDF, like Project Pearls, that hasn't been able to happen yet because of COVID.
And the one that was Project Amigo, Cindy, that they,
District grant levels.
the one that was Project Amigo, that just got changed to a different place in Mexico, but that got installed. So that was using those funds.
Yeah, that would be a good one.
Yeah.
And Cindy, you're going to talk at a future meeting about how to use DDF funds for community projects. Am I remembering correctly?
For international projects.
Yeah, international community's different, Ron. That's a different committee. That's Steve. Steve will have her talk to his committee about that.
That's actually a good idea.
Okay, that's fine. I know they're different, Holly, of course. I was just trying to get the subject on the table so we could decide how we want to deal with it.
But we do use TDF from the district grants for small international projects.
Right.
Right.
Several of them coming up this current year.
Yeah.
So we could speak on that.
Maybe at a later meeting, David, or are we ready to talk about something
Well,
at this
might
one?
talk now we know what they are, and we just submitted the grant application to the foundation, so they're sort of fixed there in terms of what we're applying for.
Yeah, and we could even split it up for the benefit of the attendees to say, district grants have already been applied for. They were sent in and due by June 1st. Here's some examples of those. But global grants are still open. The door is still open, and that might help people understand different ways to use DDF.
Right.
And will you describe that the calculus is a little bit different this year with 80% match, supposed to 100%?
Yeah.
Well,
I'll
that
be covering
That's
that.
part of what I'm
doesn't apply to
talking about.
district.
Okay, Dave's going to cover it.
Yeah.
And the
It does-
80% doesn't,
It doesn't
80%
apply to
doesn't,
the district?
not to the district grants. It does to the global grants, but not to the district grants.
And district grants do not get matched, so it.
Right.
that part
Oh,
doesn't-
right.
So they're still at zero.
Right. I thought that was a good thing, but it's not.
So I guess Janine just left us. Is that who you were waving goodbye to, Keith?
Yes, but I have an issue as well. You had on the original draft agenda, the subject of project fairs.
Well, just as a potential subject, yeah.
Yeah, I think it would be very good if someone could just say a minute or two about project fairs just after I complete the global grant presentation. Because everyone then asks, well, how do I find one?
Yeah.
I would nominate Holly.
Yeah, and I can go over the 4 that have been posted, and then Ron, you're going to send out the list to all the chairs, right?
Sure.
I can explain a little bit about the, hopefully this year, most of them will be virtual, and that will let them know as we understand more. If you saw my list, some of them I think are struggling with virtual because they said their project fair would be a week long, and I don't think we're going to sit at our computer for a week. So I think they're going to have to, work on it a little, but I can give an overview of how it worked last year being virtual, and just let them know that we're going to keep them in the loop as we find out more.
Okay, that's good. How many minutes you want, Holly?
3.
Okay.
Don't go over that. Don't go over 3 minutes.
I won't.
That's 90 seconds, Holly.
Yeah, because we should talk about it more when we actually know. I said 3 minutes. That's
Okay, I did my math wrong. Sorry. 180 seconds. How's that?
We should talk about project fairs more when we actually know what they're doing, when these districts have figured it out, because it looked a little shaky reading what was posted online. And like, I know Rosemary's very involved with the one in Central America. They don't have anything posted on the Rotary
I
website.
talked to John Creasley about that, and he said he hadn't heard anything either. And he's the one that you really should talk to about the Central
Yeah,
America.
so it's still what's the phrase, a work in progress.
Right.
So we'll talk about it more when other districts have their acts together.
I think that the Central America one is the one that people are more interested in anyway, because it's easier to get there, et cetera, I mean, who's going to go to Egypt or who's
Or
going to
East Africa, but this year I think most of them are going to be online.
Well, that's true. That's
Yeah.
true too. Yeah.
So that's an opportunity that people should at least sit through.
Right.
One last year that, we sat through the Ecuador one. They did a fantastic job. Unfortunately, we only had one of our clubs that did a project with them. But so at least if people could sit through it, it's a chance for them to have international exposure.
That's true. Mhm.
John will go to Egypt. He's our man on the road.
He sure is.
Rosemary, do you have any?
Rosemary would go too.
Yeah, I've already been there several different times, but anyway, I probably would go. I don't know. Who knows?
Rosemary, any other comments for the meeting on Saturday, or are you good with the way we're pursuing this, or any other ideas?
It's fine. I may not be able to stay for very long because our club is having their car show on Saturday, and it's quite a big deal. Big car show. If anybody wants to come and see it, it's on the 21st, and it's at the fairgrounds in San Mateo.
Well, it sounds like more fun than this. I'll be there.
I'll be there. Yeah.
Hey, good. Come. Yeah, we got some wonderful gift baskets, and that we're going to auction off, et cetera, et cetera. So it's going to be a really neat thing. And I'm not sure about the time, quite frankly, because I'm supposed to be there to help out. But I will definitely tune in at the beginning, at least, because I have to see what's going on with the global, with DDF, et cetera, because there's been so many changes, et cetera, in the last couple of years. So, but
Ron, could you maybe go through the agenda as you have it right now? For that?
I can, and I'll send you a printed copy right after, so it's easier for you to digest. But so a few minutes for introduction at the beginning. Then I'll ask Dave Hellman to give his presentation about DDF, which he has 15 minutes. Keith Axtell is going to take 15 minutes to talk, just kind of give an overview of Rotary Global, the Rotary Global Grant Program. Matoni is going to take 5 minutes to give an introduction to the potential collaboration between Rotary and returning Peace Corps volunteers. That's an introduction to a meeting they're going to have on September 2nd to try to get the interest of the international chairs that are in our meeting. Chris is going to talk for maybe 5 minutes about a project potential with the Aquarium of the Bay that they call Bay Eco Expeditions. Is that what it is?
Explorations.
Eco Exo somethings, yeah. So that's 5 minutes. And Holly's going to speak 3 minutes about project fairs. And, John Kaufman is going to take, how much are you going to take, John? Oh, 10 minutes. 5 minutes.
5, yeah.
5, 10 minutes. John's
You
going
don't
to
want
talk.
too much, John. Yeah.
I love you, John. I just was saying that's the other side of the coin.
I'm teasing you.
There might be some people out there that don't love you, John. I don't know. I hadn't thought about that.
Oh, there's plenty.
We don't want to ruin you. We don't want to overexpose you.
So Ron, I saw on the district website, it shows still some project in our district still looking for DDF. I'm not sure they're still up to date. Should we invite them, talk about their project if they still need DDF?
Man, I didn't follow you there. Please repeat that, would you?
I say on the district website, it still shows some project in our district still looking for DDF. I think one is in Peru, one is in Ecuador, microcredit project still shows looking for DDF. So I'm not sure they're still up to date, but should we ask?
Those are out of date.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so the Peru is, they don't need DDF anymore?
We'd have to check with Bob Roberts, but
Yeah.
the Ecuador project is funded
Finished, yeah.
and
Okay,
approved.
But that's an important communication for us to give to the club chairs, though. So let's see what we can do about figuring out what's up to date before Saturday. And if we don't have a good handle on it by then, we'll try to follow up with sending emails to everybody afterwards that shows a list of the ones that we think are searching for funds.
Ron, are you aware that anybody in our district can go online and look at any global grant that's ever been done in our district? So each person can literally look at the global grant to see what the status is right now?
it's on, you mean the Rotary5150.org?
No, Rotary.org. You go in through the Grant Center up at the very top. There's search grants, or I can't recall exactly what it's called, but there is a search mechanism where anybody can look at any global grant that has ever occurred, positive, negative, approved, declined, any global grant in District 5150. Every Rotarian in our district can look at every global grant from start to finish.
Okay.
Yeah, Steve, that was a really good video. I've done it several times. Unfortunately, I learned that Nevada still had the grant from hell still open. So that did not make my day now that I'm the international chair.
Yeah, that's the honesty and the accuracy of it is rather distressing.
Yeah,
But
yeah, but it was a
that-
great video, and what I liked is you were right. It's about 3 minutes to watch. But maybe more than that, it would be good, since Pam was talking about how things get posted at 5150.org, whatever the right thing is. Maybe one of the two of you could talk about if somebody's going to be keeping that up. That would be.
Payan has taken that obligation over from me.
No, she's not. She gave it up last year. Steve, you brought it up.
Unfortunately, this Saturday, I have learned, let's just say that my presence is, I have to be elsewhere this Saturday and Sunday all day, emptying out my former office, the one that I sold a couple years ago. So in any case, I unfortunately have to get that handled.
Well, so I was just trying to follow your comment. Yes, I'm aware we can do that, but are you suggesting we ought to try to explain that at the meeting? Because it's a little confusing to explain.
It's a 3-minute video that you can show that Mary Lou out of SF2 put together. It's called Luma, the app, but it's a 3-minute video that you can show. And if you have the video, then that would be a recommendation, because that way, the more people in the district that realize they can look at global grants at the district level. Now, that's not the same as global grants that are looking for funding. That's a different issue. But if it's a global grant that's been approved, a successful global grant, that can be a great model for somebody trying to do a global grant.
Yeah,
Or
okay.
a global grant that's been denied. You may learn from that also.
Right. Yeah, good idea.
That might be a little confusing for brand new chairs. I mean, for somebody who's been around, it's really great tool.
Yes, I agree.
But if we are going to do anything on our website,
Yes.
where they could look to see who might want DDF, if anybody pay on, are you the person who's going to keep that up? Will there be something?
Yeah, yes, Steve, could you send out the contact person, in district, who was managing the website again just to me or Ron, and we can just contact him and then, so make sure we keep everything up to date. I think it was Mark.
Yeah, Mark McLaren.
McLaren, right? Yeah. Okay.
So then maybe pay on, you could say something about the fact you're going to be trying to keep this up to date. So when people have global grants, if they're looking for DDF or have one and want to post it,
Yeah.
just to let them know.
Yeah. I think this one, because only few, I prefer just talk to the people who had initial the global grant rather to everybody, because it would make them confused. Because whoever initial global grant, only few people only, not to everybody.
Yes,
So
but
I need to figure out how this work first before I even tell them how to do it.
okay, because at some point, if it's where people can look and say, the club says I
Right.
have DDF, I don't want to do my own global grant. Who
Right.
else in the district has one that needs my DDF?
Right.
That would be something all the international chairs would want to know.
Keith, David, we should add this to the October 2nd training.
Okay.
You might want to put a plug in there, Ron. We're doing the nuts and bolts of global grants on October 2nd. It'll be live at Rotary Terrace, 9 a.m. and hybrid at the same time.
Well, send me the information if you want me to announce it, or one of you guys announce it.
It's already up on the website, and
I'll cover it in my presentation.
all right, perfect. Perfect.
Okay, well, I think we're good. Rhonda Pierce, how you doing, dear?
I am fine. I so apologize for being late.
Well, we didn't expect you. It's okay.
You're still on Maui time.
Yeah, no, I was at my daughter's house doing the cooking for dinner, so I was late.
Yeah, that's cool. Were you one of the people who had to go to Maui this year?
Yeah, I just
Oh.
got back yesterday and the
Poor thing.
airport sucked. Yeah,
Oh.
great weather, but just a hard time getting through security.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
So, Rhonda, if I recall right, you didn't think you were going to make it to our meeting on this next Saturday. Is there anything you wanted to do at that meeting? Will you be there? I'm just giving you an opportunity to throw
It's
your hat
coming-
in if you want to do something.
No, if I can join you, I will. Let me look at my calendar and see what I got going. But is it an in-person meeting or is it on Zoom again?
Wow, you should go back to Maui, I think.
Yeah,
You're too far behind for me to catch you up right here.
I know, no, but if I have the
It's on
time.
Zoom, Rhonda.
It's a Zoom.
We're zooming.
We're Zooming. Okay, good. Then I'll be there.
Well, just be there if you can. I wasn't trying to give you another responsibility. I just wondered if you had something you wanted to share.
No, I'm just listening and seeing what the new thoughts are for the coming year.
Yep. Okay. So Cindy, I kind of read you the agenda. Like I said, I'll send it out afterwards so it's a little clearer. Any other questions about that? About whatever you were?
No,
Mary?
just needed to clarify. It sounds like we have a lot on the agenda. And what is our time frame?
Well, it's an hour, and that's part of the sliding scale of this problem. We were going to do a live meeting first. It was originally scheduled for an hour and a half or 2.5 or something like that. So I said, if we're going to do a Zoom, let's just make it 1 hour, but we're going to have kind of a lot to do in an hour. I don't know the best way to approach that, whether we should just tell people it might go over an hour and let it go, or.
I think it's important to tell people what it is. If it's going to be 9 to 10, we have to cut it off at 10. If it's going to be 9 to 10:30, that's how I feel about Zoom meetings at any rate. I think they need to be well organized and people need to count on when they're going to end.
I would say go tell them it'll be an hour and a half. And if we end early,
Yeah.
they're happy about it. But then that way they're
That's-
not upset